Hi everyone, thank you for watching a new episode. We are very happy to feature zine-making practice by our good friend Edan Wingfield.
Edan has been making zines for a couple of years, and today he'll be in conversation with his photographer friend Jin Young Lee. They met while they were at the BFA photography program at the new school here in New York.
On this channel, we believe all kinds of photobook are important. There is no one best format. What's matter is that the story and the artist's voice. So we are very excited to learn from Edan today.
Please stay tuned until the end of the episode, where Miwa will be talking about one of her favorite photo books, Kid Nostalgia by Park Sung Jin. We hope you enjoy.
How's it going, guys? I'm Edan Wingfield. This is my friend Ginny.
Hi.
We met in college, and have been hanging out and talking about photography for a very long time now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just gonna talk a little bit today about zine making, which is what I do mainly, and just talk about how we're working, how I'm working, and yeah, that's the main thing at the moment.
I am not a zine maker,
Mhm.
and so I want to know how you put images together knowing that someone is going to be looking at it published in the format that you put it in.
Yeah, I think a lot of times the way that I'm working is like I'm digesting things as I'm seeing them. So I'm just kind of, it's like like the first step in it is sort of just this collecting thing, this sort of kind of passive interaction with things where I'm not really thinking about how they end up as much as I'm looking for just like a perspective on things or how I'm kind of consuming material. And then the second step of it is just to sort of kind of sift through all of the stuff that you've collected. I think that's why zines have been like kind of what I've gravitated towards, because there is that aspect of being able to lay everything out, and why books more generally have been what I've latched onto, because you kind of sift through things in a physical way, and you kind of, the way that I always do it is I have all these pictures, I get them all printed at Walgreens or CVS, and then I do a very cursory, like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. And then from the good pile, you make connections that way. And so there's a perspective on how you're collecting, which is sort of like a subconscious thing of like, oh, I'm noticing this happening over and over again, or I'm noticing this feeling like living and coexisting with this other feeling that feels kind of contradictory. And then in the secondary part of it, I like re-emphasize those things where you see that same thing in the collecting, and then you also see it in the kind of pattern recognition when you're putting two things together.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why like I've always sort of thought about, I mean, especially lately, especially after school, after you're sort of out of the space of having critiques and stuff like that, I think it's why zines and books have stayed interesting to me, when the sort of photography and like the single image sense have fallen away. Because I think that is also a big thing in my mind, is that I don't make work, or like I'm not trying to make a body of work in the same way that I might, like I sort of once was thinking about it. I know that you sort of have a similar feeling of kind of falling in and out of love with photography.
I do, but I feel the opposite of you, where zine making seems like something really intense and like high commitment, whereas thinking about one single image that I can make is like easier to do. But I wanted to talk about, I was thinking about how you shoot on iPhone, and
I do like that.
the way that when you shoot on iPhone, you're not thinking that, like, when you have a camera and you're out in the world trying to make a picture, you're making the picture. Whereas when you just pull an iPhone out, like, you have it, you know what, like, it's all instinctual. It's like so much more natural, where you see something in the world and you know that you need to like capture it
Well, it's
versus
like collecting
like
trash. Like
yeah.
it's like hoarding more than anything. Because I would not. I don't think about that as photography, which is why it's so little commitment. I think maybe if I was making zines where I was using a camera all the time, I would think about it that way too. But it's so it's I don't even like I don't have the right word for it, but it's so inconsequential kind of thing where I'm just like picking up like little scraps that are around, and then eventually I'm like making a trash scrapbook, like, and then as soon as it's finished, it's done. It's that's why it's become really good. Like I started, as you know, I started making this. It was originally monthly, the zine Super Lux, which
And
is
then there's
all
the
these
MIA.
iPhone pictures and all these sort of screenshots of kind of like text conversations and like books that I've been reading and stuff like that. But once I sequence it one time, I put physical images into a dummy. I use a copy machine, not a copy maker. And then once it's done, it's done. Like it's kind of, it's not, it doesn't weigh heavily on my mind. I like to make sure it works at the end. So I'll do the full sequence in the dummy. I will copy it, and I'll make a copy of it so that I can make sure that it kind of flows, and that again, like it sort of emphasizes that perspective, because I want, ideally, if you're making a series, like I want the entire series to have kind of a uh, not a narrative, but like some kind of narrative voice in a way that is sort of like the same, or there's like some kind of continuity through it, where like in my mind like the way that I'm making Superlux always is that like everything is the thing. So like there is stuff that is like sad, and there's stuff that's like really sentimental, and there are like fart jokes, and it's like it's all the same thing. Like they're all striving to be the same thing, which sort of for me is also part and parcel with the collecting aspect of it, where like you're moving through the world and you're having a good day or a bad day, or you're having a day, and the day is full of different kinds of stuff, but it's all a day. Like it's all the same thing in that kind of way. And so it's completely low pressure, because like you're gonna be out and having a day anyway. Like,
right.
But I think in that same way, like something like the zine that I just made for Dashwood is, I was thinking about it a lot differently, and I was agonizing about it a lot more, because that is like those pictures are like photos that I made like with a camera, and like on a big trip, on like a road trip, where I'm thinking the whole time like, oh, I should be making work. I should be working. I should be making pictures that are like good.
Yeah.
Which like in that way I'm thinking like, oh, I'm making pictures. If I take my phone out, I'm never like, I'm making pictures. I'm making my work. I mean, I don't tend to think that way anyway. But I am aware
like
of just
ever?
the me. I don't think so, really. I don't like.
Do you immediately know whether or not a photo might make it
Into Superlux?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when it's good,
well, sometimes
you know?
I have one like, I was like the picture that I just showed sort of offhandedly. So I had been dyeing a jacket, and I had to like get rid of all the dye, and so I poured this big tub of like black dye into the toilet, and it made like the bottom of the toilet black. And then also like these weird pictures on the wall of a grocery store that show like different thieves. Like people, like they do that in bodegas and stuff sometimes. I kind of knew those were going to go in, because again, there's like that same sort of thing of, I don't know, like there's some things that I take the picture, or I see the thing, and I know that it's like, okay, that's Super Lux. Like that's the thing. Whereas like other projects I don't really as much. And I mean, that's true also of uh, the first one. Like, the reason I started doing this zine is because of this X-ray picture. Because I thought like that X-ray picture was so interesting and cool, and I had just sort of come across it, and then I was looking through the rest of my camera roll for the past like month or whatever that I had been thinking about it, and that was kind of that was sort of like the impetus for doing that. Um, but a lot of times, I think it's way more interesting when a picture works that I wasn't expecting to work.
Uh-huh.
Like I was, what I was talking about with like the sorting for good and bad. I think it's the most satisfying to me when I'm doing a sequence and I have one image on one of the pages and I have an empty page and I'm sort of like, God, like what can I put there? What works? And then I remember a picture that is in the bad pile and I can salvage it and it works really well. Like it works with the preceding images and the ones afterwards and like all that kind of stuff. I think that's really satisfying and that's really nice. And it makes it, I don't know, it makes it feel like in every step of it you're really involved in it. I think maybe that's to your point of like not thinking about like making work. I don't think I ever really do, because if I really harp on images that I've taken, if I get really like this is my best thing I've ever done, then like you just keep showing the same image over and over again, and then you're not involved in it as much as you're trying to like sell somebody on the idea that
Yeah.
you are making good pictures.
Yeah.
Which I'm like obviously it would be great if like people like the stuff that you're making and like that you show people pictures that they really like. But I think a lot more than that, like I want to be involved in it. Like me, for me, making zines is not different than like drawing or like making
Uh-huh.
paintings or like doing all that kind of stuff. And a lot of the stuff that I do in terms of like creative stuff, like making paintings and drawings and like tattoos and stuff, like a lot of people don't see that stuff, but I still get a lot of like nourishment out of it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I think that is much more the goal, where it's sort of you want to have a broad and like diverse way of kind of being creative and
I need
like
more hobbies.
yeah. And that's the thing is like I've always just like picked up hobbies and gotten like
Skating, surfing, soccer.
yeah, just like you pick up stuff to the point where you are good enough at it that you can do it,
Uh-huh.
like jack of all trades kind of thing, where you can do it well enough that you get the satisfaction of being able to do a thing, and then you can just like if you want to you can just do it at that level and just be like, okay, cool, like I have a broad kind of feeling because I can do all these things and because I can express different ideas and sort of different shades of an idea, which I think is nice in the open context of a kind of serialized zine, because it can all be the thing, but you can also explore a different feeling in every single one because you come to each one new. Like you come to it in a way that you didn't come to the other ones.
Do you think that your new zine is an extension of Super Lux or something different?
I think it's something different. I think I I made the all the work and the sequence and all that kind of stuff for the Dashwood zine for Aspirin um, before I had ever started Superlux, I believe. Superlux definitely wasn't as developed of an idea
Mm-hmm.
when I was making it, and so I don't think it's the same. And I think it is pretty emblematic of that kind of uh, like of my mind more in the past being kind of more divorced, where it's like Superlux is like a playful like who cares kind of thing, and then
Uh-huh.
this is like work, like this is real work.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think I think about it anymore like that. I think I think about it in I think in some ways I was kind of neglecting like the seriousness of doing something continuously, like doing something even if it is fun, even if it is playful, like you still work on an idea consistently and you develop it and you do all that kind of stuff over and over again, that it does become something that is important in some kind of way. And so now I think about it as also having meaning and having value, whereas I think with the Dashwood zine, I like wanted it to have meaning the whole time.
Yeah.
So I was trying to imbue
Mm.
meaning in it, and I was trying to make sure the pictures were good, and I was trying to do like make sure that the prints were perfect and the color was perfect, and I think that was a separate thing for sure. I think
Do you still feel satisfied by it?
yeah, I mean I feel satisfied by it because it feels like a good document of the trip, of the time,
Mhm.
of where I was at photographically and all that kind of stuff. I think I would, if I went on another road trip, I would make things differently, and I
Do you
would.
think because you've been freed of like the pressure of making work
I
from Super Lux?
think so. Yeah, I think because I've now come to emphasize emphasize different things in how I'm working and like sort of working in a more like holistic way rather than sort of compartmentalizing everything.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea of holistic.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue Super Lux and or different kinds of zines?
Yeah, I have a finished dummy that I'm just looking for time to print.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have a copy of that coming out hopefully next week. But yeah, I think it went from being a monthly thing to being a little bit more sporadic and as I have pictures. But I'm definitely making a lot of stuff. I'm working on. I have like 3 or 4 on the go that I'm kind of shooting for, and yeah, so I got lots of stuff coming.
That's exciting.
Okay, Miwa, what would you say is your favorite Asian photo book of this month?
My favorite photo book of the month is A Kid's Nostalgia by Park Sung Jin. I love the portrait book. This shows at the special moment of the youth. The student look a little bit uncertain and precious. I love the feeling.
I really like what you said. I love his portrait work too because I think that he picks a wide variety of personalities. You know, it's not just people who know how to be photographed, and because of that nervousness, it really captures the feeling of youth.
Yes, he's really good at the portrait. I hope that everybody enjoy his book.
Well, thank you for watching, and we hope you stay tuned for the next episode.
Thank you very much.